everyone. I'm going to go ahead and bring you through a total body mobility circuit. The purpose of this is just to improve your joint mobility, hopefully help to improve any joint pain that you might be experiencing. This is a great workout to perform each day. It can actually be substituted as a warm-up instead of my dynamic warm-up video that I posted as well. So again, as with any exercise program, the disclaimer is that you should not engage in exercise at all if you're feeling unwell. If you're lightheaded, if you're dizzy, you have any chest pain or shortness of breath, exercise is not for you today. Make sure to call somebody or visit the emergency room. And always talk to your case manager to evaluate the appropriateness of these handouts and videos that we're providing with you to perform at home. So again, the goal of this program is to improve your joint mobility and flexibility. We're going to target all of the major muscle groups. I will just go ahead and demonstrate each of these exercises one time through. We're going to perform 10 repetitions. You can perform anywhere between 10 and 15 initially. If you will add a second and third set moving forward, you can just simply rewind after I've gone through the demonstration and repeat this on your own time, 2 or 3 sets. So the first exercise is just an arm circle. You can simply do this seated, or you can rest one hand on a stable surface. You're just going to let one arm kind of hang limp, and you're actually going to use your shoulder joint to create a pendulum so that your hand can just kind of move in a circle. So we're moving counterclockwise, making nice circles, just kind of using momentum of your shoulder. After you've completed 10 there, with your thumb up, you're going to do the same thing, moving the arm clockwise. Always maintaining a flat back. Just kind of let that joint capsule at the shoulder loosen up here with each circle. Very good. After 10, you're going to go ahead and switch sides. Again, move your trunk in order to just kind of create a pendulum here. The arm should just kind of hang limp, and momentum is creating a circle, moving counterclockwise and clockwise in each direction. Very good, and rest. So the next exercise is great for the upper back and shoulders. Anybody that sits hunched over at a desk is likely going to have a lot of inflexibility and tightness in the front of the chest, and probably some weakness in the back of the shoulders and in between your shoulder blades. So the next one on the list is wall slides. Patients generally have a difficult time with this. The goal, either seated or standing, is to put your whole spine on the wall. Try to make goalpost arms and keep your hands and elbows in contact with the wall. If you don't have the flexibility initially to touch the wall, come out a little bit and just do the very best you can, trying to force your hands and elbows backwards. And you're going to keep your head on the wall and just do the best you can to slide the hands as far as you can up the wall. Exhale to reach up, inhale to come down. Exhale to reach, inhale to lower, nice and slow. So again, it might be uncomfortable initially. Move your arms out as far as you need to, but try to go through the full range of motion. If you have any pain at any point, you might just do half of the range of motion until you feel a little bit of discomfort. So just do the best you can. We'll do a few more here to make 10 repetitions. 9 and 10. Very good. So again, as I mentioned, a lot of times we develop weakness in between the shoulder blades. So the next exercise is just a simple shoulder squeeze. I'm going to do this so that you can see me better. All right? So you're just trying to roll your shoulders down and back to squeeze and hold, and then relax. Pinch your shoulder blades, squeeze and hold, relax. Squeeze, relax. 5, 6. Pinch those shoulder blades together. Imagine there's a pencil in between your shoulder blades and you want to try to pinch it enough to hold it there, and then relax. Squeeze and release. One more time. Squeeze and release. Very good. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the middle of the body and the lower extremities. So we're gonna do some hip circles just to kind of open up around the hip joints and pelvis so your feet are together unless you don't feel stable, in which case you can bring your feet as wide as you'd like. You're gonna be more stable if your base of support is wider. So your hands are on your hips and you're just gonna create circles in one direction, moving nice and slow. The bigger the circle, the more unstable you're gonna feel. So if you need to hold on to an object out in front of you, you can certainly do so. Again, much more challenging to have your feet together. Creating big circles, moving at your hips and your low back. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Changing direction, clockwise circles. More stable if my feet are wide, my circles are smaller, and of course if I'm holding on to an object, I'm much more steady. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Fantastic. So we're going to keep moving on with the hips. You can hold on to an object here out to the side. We're going to be moving with the outside leg. You can be free to move here and balance on your own if you do feel steady. You're going to just simply start by tapping your toe out behind you. You're going to try to make a big circular movement at your hip to step over an imaginary hurdle out in front of you. Return backwards at 45 degrees. Lift the knee, tap, tap, and step. Good. Tap, big circle, step over that hurdle. Good. Hurdle, step forward, moving at that hip. Again, just do the best you can. A small circle is totally fine. If you have any pain at all, just reduce the range of motion, and it will get bigger over time with practice. 8. Good. 9. And 10. Without use of the chair here, I'm going to perform the other side. You might have a little bit more freedom of movement with your trunk. Tap, hurdle, step. I find I'm better balanced with my hands on my hips, but do whatever you want with your hands. They can be free on the hips, crossed over the chest. Tap, hurdle, step. Touch, hurdle, step. Big circle at the hip. Tap, hurdle, step. Good. 6. Big circular motion at the hip to open up all the musculature in there. Good. 8. 9. And 10. Super. Next, we're going to go ahead and address the muscle in the back of the leg called the hamstring. It can get very tight and contribute to a lot of low back and knee pain. So we're going to go ahead and do a simple hip hinge. You can perform this one seated in a chair. You're going to extend one leg forward, and if you are standing, you want to make sure that you squat and bend into your back leg. So what you're going to do here is just reach across with the opposite hand as best you can. If you can't quite touch your toe, that's no problem. What's most important is that your spine stays straight. Bend the back leg, reach across with the opposite hand to feel this pull behind the leg and the hamstring. I believe we're on 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good. For those of us who chose to stay seated for that activity, it will look something like this. You have one leg extended and the other leg straight with your flat back. Reach across with the opposite hand, try to touch the toe and return to a tall seated position. Reach and touch, sit tall. Good. 3. Keeping the chest and heart lifted up towards the sky. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good. The next one can be awfully challenging standing up. If you don't feel steady, I would try this one seated first. It's a big hip opener. The goal here is to place your ankle on top of your knee to then release. Otherwise, you're standing, pulling the shin and ankle and pulling that lower leg towards your chest. So the modification here, seated, place ankle on the knee. Feel the opening of the outside of the hip. Grab hold of the ankle if you need assistance. You're moving through fluidly, hold for a brief moment, and then come right back to baseline. I believe we're on 7. Good. 8. 9. And 10. Terrific. I'm going to perform the opposite side standing so that I can show you what this looks like. You're going to try to keep good posture. If you can't quite grab the leg, just touch the heel with the opposite hand. Touch the heel with the opposite hand, or grab hold of the ankle and shin to pull that leg up towards your chest to maximize the stretch here in the outside of your hip. Good. 4. Grab and pull. 5. Maintaining perfect posture. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Very good. So we're going to move on to our hip flexors. This area can get very tight, can contribute to that rounded back posture, and it can also contribute to some back pain as well. So we want to make sure that this area here in the front of the hip is nice and flexible. The modification here would just be to put your foot on the bottom stair at home. So you can just kind of lift your foot up onto a surface. Your stance should be nice and wide. You want to try to keep your back heel on the floor. If you feel best balanced here, hands are on your hips, and you're just going to simply rock forward enough to open up through this hip. So return, extend this front leg, and then bend it, pushing this back hip forward enough to feel a stretch, release. Bend the knee, feel the pull, and return to baseline. 4. 5. Trying to keep your belly pulled in here. 6. Again, driving this hip straight ahead. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Good. And if you do feel comfortable enough to get down on one knee, make sure to grab a mat or a towel, even a pillow. Pad up your back knee as much as you need to. And then this would be the more challenging alternative here. You can place your hands on the front knee, and the goal again is to feel the stretch here. So you're going to bend the front knee and push into the stretch. Feel this hip opening and return to baseline. Push the back hip forward, feel the stretch and release. 3. 4. You can also have hands on your hips if that feels more comfortable. 5. You want to try to avoid a big arch in your back. 7. So pull through your belly, keep a straight back. You should only feel that pull in the front of your hip and nowhere else. 1 more for 10. Good. And if you have difficulty getting up from here, you can always have a chair nearby to help you stand up. Otherwise, stick with the modification and just place your front foot on a elevated surface like your stair. So moving on, if you do feel comfortable getting up and down, this handout is probably for you. We're going to go ahead and begin on your hands and knees. This is a T-spine rotation. We're trying to create rotation through the rib cage. We're again trying to open up through your chest. So it looks like a butterfly. You got like a chicken wing that you're trying to open up here. So you want to get your hands right underneath your shoulders. You're going to lace your hand behind your head, point your elbow down to the floor, and then do the very best you can, lifting that elbow enough to feel a stretch through the front of the shoulder and chest. Drop the elbow, point it down, open up, and move it as high up towards the ceiling as you can, enough to feel the stretch. 4, 5, 6, 7, trying to twist through your ribs. 8, keeping your bottom arm straight. 9, and 10. Return that hand right below the shoulder. Set up for the other side, hand behind the head. Point the elbow straight down, and then open the elbow up towards the sky. If it's pain-free, you can even look up towards that top elbow as you try to open through your chest. 3, 4, point the elbow down, and then send it up to the sky. 5, 6, 7. Exhaling each time you lift that elbow. 8, 9, and 10. You can tell which one I have difficulty with. Next, we're going to go ahead and create some movement at your spine. Very similar starting position on your hands and knees. Knees under hips, hands under shoulders. This is a cat and a cow. What does a cat do to stretch, right? You're going to start by opening up through your chest, try to create a curve in your back, and then just like the cat would, look down, pull your belly button into your spine and round as best you can. Slow transitions, arch, and then curl your tailbone down and round. Exhale to arch, inhale to round. Arch, looking up, round, looking down. And just do the best you can here. If you have any pain moving through this range of motion, just make the movement smaller. If you still have pain with a smaller movement, omit this exercise entirely. Round and arch. One more time, round, and return to neutral spine. Good. So we're going to slowly transition onto your back. If you do have what's called a foam roller, you can actually put that foam roller vertically up and down your spine and lie right on top of it. Otherwise, you're all going to lie down on your back. You're going to be more comfortable if your knees are bent. Okay, you're pushing your low back down into the floor. I hope you can all see me. Your thumbs are up to the ceiling. Your hands are going to start right outside your hips. And then we're going to move your thumbs overhead to create a big Y, YMCA. Touch the hands by the hips. Send them overhead. Try to touch your thumbs behind you. Inhale down. Exhale up. Try to make sure your head, shoulders, low back, and bum are imprinted on the floor behind you. 5. Reaching overhead, Y. 6. Touch palms, touch thumbs. 8. 9. And 10. Very good. Slowly sitting up there. We're going to move forward into knee drops. It's another activity to kind of create some rotation at your spine. So you're going to lie on your back, stretching your arms out to the sides, making a big T with your upper body. Your feet are going to stay on the floor, and you're just going to keep your knees together and let them fall from side to side, making sure your upper back and shoulder blades stay on the floor. You might actually feel your abdominals working a bit to pull your knees back to the middle. So you're just going slow here, moving your knees from side to side. 6, make sure to continuously breathe here, never hold your breath. 7. 8. Now shoulders and arms down on the floor. 9 and 10. So I recommend here turning onto your side, using your top arm to slowly bring yourself up to seated, bringing your head up last. And then the last one here is just some simple ankle circles. You can of course do this one seated in a chair, but it's best if you go ahead and kick your legs out straight out in front of you. Hands by your hips to sit up nice and tall through your spine, and just create big circles at your ankles, both clockwise and counterclockwise. And you can do one or both at the same time. I like to just do both. Kill two birds with one stone. And circles clockwise here. 8, 9, 10, and then counterclockwise circles, rolling those ankles in the opposite direction. Sitting up nice and tall. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that's all I have for you with this handout. If you are down on the floor, use that chair next door if you do need it to rise. Otherwise, this is the best way to get up. Roll to your side, get onto the hands and knees. Use that chair if you need to. Come to half kneeling, one leg in front, and then rise. If you did just find that one set is good, you feel nice and loosened up and ready to go and warmed up, fantastic. If you're feeling extra stiff and you are having some joint flexibility and a lot of joint pain issues, you want to make sure that you consider going through this 2 or 3 times. So if that's the case, rewind and repeat. Otherwise, I hope that made you feel better. And remember, you can repeat this every day. So you guys have a good day. We'll see you soon.